Hello and welcome to a webinar from Linköping University. Today we're going to talk about our new master program in Aging and Social Change. I'm Karina Sjöberg, working at International Student Recruitment, and I have some representatives from the program with me here today. But first of all, some practicalities. This webinar will be recorded and it will be put on our website as well as on YouTube afterwards. The second part, there we have questions and answers, and you're more than welcome to ask them afterwards and put them in the questions box. So, once again, very welcome again. I have some representatives from the program with me. Could you introduce yourself, please?
Hello, my name is Indre Genelita and I'm a program director of Aging and Social Change.
And my name is Alexandra. I am a first-year student here and I moved here from Poland.
So, Indre, what is the background to the program?
Well, I should start by saying that aging is one of the key trends of our global societies. And aging affects the sustainability and well-being of individuals. So it's very important to understand the challenges and possibilities that comes to this key trend.
And what makes this program special in your eyes?
Well, we have this special interdisciplinary focus. The program has a unique hybrid teaching format and it has a policy orientation.
So this means that you have both on-campus students and distance students.
Exactly. So we have two parts of program. One is students applying on campus and the second part is where students apply on distance. But we meet together in the classroom. Some students who are on distance, they meet us through the video conference, and the students who are on campus, they come to the classroom at university together with their teacher.
Okay, and a few words about you.
I came from the sociological background and I am on-campus student. Although I don't live in Norrköping, I live in Linköping, so I use a campus bus.
Okay. So, there are also a choice whether you take a one-year program or a two-year program. But maybe we should have a look at the curriculum to make that clearer for our viewers.
Otherwise, I can start
Yes.
with explaining.
Yes. The first semester, how does it work?
Exactly. So I would like to start with the program structure. We have on-campus weeks. That is the week, for example, we start the program with this type of week where everyone, on-campus students and distance students, come to Norrköping and we study together. Then in between those on-campus weeks, we have a hybrid mode. That's where students meet both in the classroom and online together. Our first year, I could say, is a ground year. It's a ground knowledge year. The typical semester, both semester 1 and 2, have 4 courses. So 2 courses run in parallel and then next 2. We have examinations throughout the courses. The first semester has 2 on-campus weeks in the beginning and in the middle. We just finished the second one, actually. And then the second semester is a little bit more special. We have 4 courses for students who continue on to 2-year program. But the students who choose to finish the program after 1 year, instead of second 2 courses, they take a thesis course. So that's why it's a little bit different. We also have 2 on-campus weeks in the middle and in the end.
Okay.
Yes.
And how are you thinking on this? 1 year or 2 year?
My plan is to do 2 years. I want to do an internship here in Sweden, so 2 years, stay here and start my career.
This 1 year, 2 year, does it have any implications on your career afterwards?
Yes, so it is important to think that the 1-year program actually has less credits. So for example, if you're interested in the academic career, continue on a PhD, you need the full program. Otherwise, the 1-year program could be useful if you already are working but need to deepen your knowledge, or you want to change a track, a profession. So that could be a boost, so to say, or help you to change. We have more choices possible. So in the third semester, students can go abroad they can take internship, they can take elective courses, and that's where they can specialize.
Okay, and what about class size? That is a question I often have. How big are the classes?
We currently have 17 students. Next year we actually plan to increase our seats, and we would like to have around 30 students, both on campus and on distance. So we count it as one classroom.
Okay, great to know. So, for the third semester, I understand there are several options. Could you tell me a bit more about that?
Yes, absolutely. So one could take the full semester and do exchange studies. Full semester is 30 credits. It's also possible to do an internship for half of the semester, and we also provide 2 more elective courses in our program. Students who don't want to go abroad or do internship have choices within our program. They can choose elective courses, they can choose courses from other universities in Sweden or all over the world.
Okay. And you, how are you thinking, Alexandra?
I am thinking about internship. I haven't started looking yet, but I definitely will in the nearest future.
And would you like to do your internship in Sweden, or are you planning going back to Poland or elsewhere in the world?
No, definitely here in Sweden.
Okay, great to hear. So, when it comes to the application and the target student, who is it you would like to see here in class?
We actually aim at a variety of, we want a variety of students. We want heterogeneous classroom. And that's the advantage also for students who are, for example, just finished their education, to meet students who already have been working and been doing some of a career. Maybe some people who suddenly found the interest in aging in later life. So it's possible to have a variety of students who are aiming at working at various organizations, for example, international ones. It can be university, it can be private sector, municipalities, and so on. So we think about experts, future managers, even academics.
Yes. I sometimes get the question, I have this age, can I apply? And then in Sweden there is no age limit. It's not linked to your age whether you are admitted or not. It's linked to if you fulfill the entry requirements or not. So are there any specific requirements in order to be admitted?
Yes, so I wanted to just say that all students are welcome, as Karina just pointed out. We have 3 requirements. So one is to have at least 5 points in social sciences, then 5 points in quantitative or statistical methods course, and then finally is the English test. Yes. The program is in English, it's international master, so it's very important that you have right kind of English skills.
Yeah. What would you say about the English, Alexandra?
I would say it's challenging, and it's definitely important to be prepared. There are oral presentations, there are reports to write. So English is the way we all communicate, not only in the classroom, but during the group work, outside of university. So it's very important.
Yeah, so it's not just a question of passing the test. It is also a question of being able to communicate and analyze, and it is a step up from bachelor's to master's in the amount, in the analytical skills you're supposed to use in your writing, etc. So be aware and maybe practice before coming here so that you know that you're up to speed. And also the fact that you have a term that is divided into 2 parts. Be sure to get started in the beginning. I think that's usually a good advice.
Yes.
Don't wait to get started.
Yes, exactly. And as I mentioned, we have examinations throughout the courses, so it's important that you are there and you participate. It's also important for the classroom because we share the knowledge with other students, so please be there and be active.
When it comes to challenges, what do you as a teacher see as challenging for master students?
Well, it can be, for example, this hybrid teaching mode. it is a way to expand our classroom and make the education more accessible for people, for example, who might have never come to Norrköping, right? But it can also be a challenge because it's a specific type of communication when technology is used. And sometimes technology does not work, or it can be that, for instance, we have the group work, which is actually self-organized, and this is group work which happens online, even though both on campus and on distance students are involved. So there is different types of interaction and participation.
I think the keyword there you said was self-organized. And that for me also means that you have to have some kind of a general thinking about timing. If you say that you meet at 2 p.m., what does that mean? Does it mean that I can show up at 2:30, or am I expected to be there at least 2:10, something like that? Different cultures have different views on this, and sometimes it's wise to discuss this in the beginning. Or what's your experience? You nod your head.
I agree that group work can be challenging because groups are with both on-campus students and distance students. I think it's good that the groups are being changed during the term, so we are not used to certain group of people. We keep talking and exchanging experiences, but I haven't had the issue with being on time, or if we agree at 3 p.m., it is 3 p.m.
Okay, lovely to hear. Yeah, and also the thing about every being there at the same time, and the thing that this is also similarity to work life. You cannot choose your workmates. You have to communicate and adapt, and you have to be on top of things, not lag behind, in order to be part of a project work. And projects, that is something which is very Swedish and very typical, and I know that some countries have not got the experience with them that much of project work when they come here, but that is something which is quite vivid here, I would say.
Yes, and we teach an area of transferable skills. So, for example, project work or group work or oral presentations. These are the skills you can use not only in your program and learning, right? You can use it in the working life.
Yeah, that's life. Yeah, so if we think a bit more about being a student at Linköping University, and now we are on campus Norrköping. So, Alexandra, how is it to be a student at campus Norrköping?
It's great. It's great because I can see both campuses, Linköping and Norrköping. As I mentioned, I live in Linköping. Free campus bus. There's a lot of spaces to hang out here, to have lunch, to do the group work, for example. I think campus is great.
Yeah. And how long time does it take to go by bus from Linköping to Norrköping?
It's about 45 minutes, and it's great because the bus leaves according to how the lectures start here. So we are not too early, we are not late, it's perfectly timed.
Okay, that's great to know in advance. I was a bit worried about that, actually. Yeah, so when it comes to Linköping University, why did you come here in the first place?
I heard you mention that the group work in Nordic countries, there's a big focus on that. And in Poland, when I'm from, there's no really focus on group work, on writing skills as well. There's more of a system, there are exams at the end, and here I really like that we are having examinations throughout the term. I think with the workload it's easier, but also we keep practicing. So that's why. And I really like the program, and it's the only one here, so yeah. Only here, yeah.
So what about accommodation? Was that difficult for you?
I found information about accommodation on the Instagram Leo website. So I applied as soon as I applied to university. And if you do that, you're good to go. It wasn't difficult, or the information can be found on the websites.
Yeah. we usually get a lot of questions linked to accommodation, and I tend to tell the students to apply for accommodation. It's free of charge as soon as you have applied for the program, or rather, even before you applied for the program. Even during the stage, you're not certain that you will come or not, because this is what the Swedish students do. They apply very early for accommodation, and here you gather queuing points. For every day you are in the queue, you get a point. And the more points you have in mid-July, when the available rooms are open, the higher are your chances. So go through the Studentbo here in Norrköping. If you're looking at Facebook or Blocket, then please remember, don't pay any rent or money up front before having seen the room in person. Okay? That's it on accommodation. And you, when did you come here?
Yes, actually it was more than a decade ago. I came for PhD studies and then I stayed on.
Yeah. For those who are thinking about a master's and want to continue to be a PhD, it's always a great option to do the master's at the place where you would like to continue as a researcher, and then, of course, do the thesis in conjunction with a research group. I don't know, how are the general views? Have you heard anything in the class when it comes to I want to continue, or I want to go out in the surrounding society working?
Well, I think it's a bit various, because as I said, people who apply to this program are applying for different reasons, and they are at different levels in their life and their career. So some were aiming at one-year program from the very beginning. Soon as we're choosing actually this 1 or 2 year track just now, so we will find out soon the results.
So at the end of the first semester, more or less, you have decided whether you go for a 1-year version or 2-year version.
Exactly.
Yeah. And Norrköping and Linköping, it's actually the 4th metropolitan area in Sweden. But the distance here are very close. Could you comment on that, Alexandra?
That's right. Norrköping is great. You can walk everywhere, and public transport is really good, I would say, in Sweden in general. And in Linköping, when you have a bike, you can go everywhere.
Yeah. Linköping, Norrköping, a bike is a must. And Norrköping is located about 1.5 hours from Stockholm. And I know a lot of students take the weekends off. As long as you have time management skills, so that you're up to your lectures and your seminars. I know that also taking time off is important. Having a spare time interest. So a lot of people ask me, can I do sports while I'm here? And I say, well, if you've done sports while you're a bachelor student, or you have a particular interest in theatre, journalism, or whatever, you can always find a student association here. No worries about that. And that's also an excellent way to get to know Swedish students. So it's a way of adapting into society. So finally, are there any particular tips that you would have liked to know before you came here?
Apply for accommodation as soon as possible.
Yeah, okay. Cannot be underlined.
Depending where you're coming from, check the weather. Pack clothes that you will need, definitely. Polish climate is not so different from Swedish, but we have colleagues from different parts of the world, so it's very important. Yeah, and all the information can be found on the website, other than that. Yeah,
maybe I should develop it a bit further on weather. Yes, we do have 4 seasons in Sweden. Right now it's autumn, and it's getting a bit dark, and we try to be out as much as possible in daylight to get the sun. And we have coping mechanisms with this. When it comes to clothes and furniture, there are a lot of second-hand shops. It's very much in vogue in Sweden to buy second-hand. So I would maybe advise those of you who haven't experienced autumn or winter before to buy the clothes when you're here, because then you know that they are adjusted to the climate. What is considered a winter cloth in China or in India or in South Africa might not be what we think when we think winter clothes. So bring what you think is useful. I know that some students, they bring spices from their home countries so that they can cook the meals that they like and adore that. So I think that's all for this part when it comes to this part, and I can stop here and say thank you very much, and we will continue with the Q&A parts in a couple of seconds. So thank you very much for watching, and you have a lot more information online or on our blog. Thank you, and we will continue with Q&As in a second.